Hi guys, so this is kind of our run through using R and looking at gene expression in smokers versus non-smokers. And if you're interested in this actual data set and the first exploration of the data, in the PowerPoint that I uploaded Friday, there's a paper in there, a journal article, um, that actually explains it. So if you want to kind of understand the uh, the hypotheses that they were working with and the um, how they went about analyzing the data, you can dig more into that using that paper. But we're going to be using their same data, and so um, with publication of these gene expression papers, they generally require to make the data freely available. And so we're going to take advantage of that and actually download it from the public database and work with it. And so this is the same exact data from that particular paper in the PowerPoint from Friday. So it's been a long time since we talked about R and have used R. We've been generally sticking to the Galaxy server just because it's a little easier to use and it's available, on the web. And RStudio takes a bit more time to kind of not only learn, how to type in commands, but also how to install and get it working on your system. But I did have a number of students reach out and say that they were very interested in kind of getting a little more practice in R. And so this last week, we're going to be kind of exploring a bit more using R and RStudio. And so remember, if this isn't on your computer, R and RStudio are both freely available. They're available for Windows and for Mac. And so just basically type in download R into Google, and it's a pretty straightforward process to download it and to get RStudio running. And so this is RStudio that you see here. And just to kind of orient us, remember we have 4 specific quadrants in RStudio. One of them is the upper left quadrant that basically this is where we have like any sort of note taking, or if we want to view any sort of data set, it will show up in this left panel here. And so we can use an R notebook, which is here, and we can just navigate up to the file submenu, click on R notebook, and that'll open something like this. And so just to kind of reorient us, this is our left panel that it appears in. And so this is an R notebook. I usually get rid of this text here just because it's kind of telling us about, okay, here's what an R notebook is, here's what you can do. And here with the R surrounded by curly brackets is where you actually enter in your R commands. So these are the commands that you actually want to enter into R and for R to process. And so we can rename this here. So microarray activity, and we want the output to be HTML notebook. And I'll have you turn this in after you're done with this particular project. And so what we want to do, so we can get rid of this, just general plot cars. And so what we're going to do is we're going to run these first commands first, or these first commands to this kind of sets up our system. So we're using a set of programs from the bioconductor set of programs. And I apologize if you hear my dog whining in the background. She wants to go out. But So we're going to load up Bioconductor, and then we're going to load a number of programs. So you see this is calling the Bioconductor, and it's saying install this particular program. So we're going to install GeoQuery as well as these particular ones here. Lima, Oligo, these databases here, and Gplots. And this could take a little bit depending on, if you've never loaded them before and if you're installing them for the first time. It could possibly take a little bit because it is extracting data from the internet. And also it'll ask you if you want to update specific packages. And for the purposes of this exercise, you can so it'll say enter in A for all or N for none. I just entered A for all and just let it kind of update all those packages. And once it's finished, it'll allow you to enter a new command. And so you see what we want to do here. And actually, let's stop there with the setup of all of the programs, and that's kind of like the first hurdle to clear before we move forward with actually downloading the data from the GEO server and doing some data manipulation. And so take a minute, get that all loaded up, and move on to the next section of video lecture.